Hello everyone, it's Alyssa Reynolds here, and welcome to another wonderful Saturday. So, first off, I just have a little bit of housekeeping, and that is a lot of thank yous to all of you. First, thank you to all my subscribers. I've reached 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which is amazing since it has just barely been a year since I first started it. And if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel and want to keep up to date with these channelings that I do on Saturdays, I always post them over to my YouTube channel, so you can pop over there and subscribe to Alyssa Reynolds and you'll be able to find all my content, because I know sometimes it gets a little bit lost underneath all the posts that go through our group here in the Amethyst Cave. And I also wanted to thank everyone for the beautiful birthday wishes for my birthday yesterday. It was really wonderful to receive all of those, especially because it's a strange time for all of us, and like many people, I had all sorts of plans, and it was interesting to spend it just in the comfort of my own home, and despite the fact that I'm an introvert, it was definitely a process, which leads me into how I ended up first meeting the goddess Hestia and why I'm channeling her today. Hey Kirsty, wonderful to see you in here. Because I knew about Hestia. I have, as I've said before, a huge detailed background of just education and personal fascination with everything to do with mythology. So I knew about her, but I'd never actually connected with her until about 3 weeks ago, when all this virus stuff kind of just really took a turn, and my parents had been planning to come out for my birthday and come out to the island to celebrate it with me, and they were going to bring along my siblings who are still living at home, and it was going to be this big family celebration to mark my 30th. And of course that couldn't happen, and I went through, like I'm sure many of you have felt to certain degrees, as certain things have gotten cancelled, be they graduations or weddings or birthdays or all sorts of things, that there's that moment of just being really frustrated and upset and a little bit depressed. And I was sitting down, just processing through all of those emotions and just really feeling them and handing them off to my team and holding on to just the good positive things, because it's not like I've not spent a birthday alone before. I've had quite a few where it's just been me and nature. And I didn't know why I was getting so tangled up and frustrated by this, and I was like, why am I so fixated on this being perfect and now it's not? And Hestia came in, and oh, she is a wonderful energy that is very similar to both Demeter and Gaia. So at first I wasn't totally clear on who it was, and it took a moment of me just feeling her energy and asking her questions to pick up, oh, it's Hestia. And what sets her apart from Demeter, who is another Greek goddess, is Hestia has this warmth that feels like you are stepping into a cozy home. So whatever you would imagine a cozy home to be, that's how Hestia feels. And that brings in all these different elements of family, of a mother, of a father, of children, of company, of conversation, of laughter and good food and all of those things. And so that's where her energy bridges a little bit with Demeter, who has a very strong motherly feeling to her as a patron of mothers and of the seasons. But Hestia is so much more just about all of it, everything to do with the home. And that too almost gives her this all-encompassing feel that's very similar to Gaia, except with Hestia, when she comes in for me, coming down from above and just wrapping around me like this great big fluffy blanket, which I meant to bring my fluffy blanket over here. I didn't though. I've got my scarf, so that's fluffy enough. But that's how she feels, whereas Gaia, when she comes in, she always comes in for me from the ground up, just building her energy up through my toes and legs and all the way up. So she kind of comes up from that direction for me. So as always, I recommend that you guys definitely call in Hestia and connect with her, have a feel for how she feels to you, because although I say this is how Hestia feels to me, this is how Demeter feels and how Gaia feels, it may be very different to you. And yeah, she is absolutely amazing, Christy. She really is. And her coming in really helped 3 weeks ago with just stopping me in the whole tangle that I had been going through about just how this virus has thrown off a lot of our day-to-day lives and our certain holidays and landmarks. And she had a lot of personal things to say to me, but I can say that overall she just reminded me how the way we structure things is not stuck in a box. It's very 3D, and that we're so much more than those things, and a number of other stuff that she said. But she has a message she wants to relay to all of you today, and she's here with me right now, as is Gaia as well. So it's really interesting feeling having both of them here, because Gaia came in shortly after Hestia told me she wanted to speak with all of you today, because Gaia too just has a few reminders. And again, it kind of goes back to the fact that Gaia is the mother of our home for all of us, whereas Hestia looks after our nuclear homes, our four walls that we're within, or our family home in terms of the family we're around ourselves with, or just our own body and how our own body is a home that our soul is housed within. So, just going to tune in and see which one of them wants to step forward first. Okay, there we go. Just felt energy just rushing up through my legs. So right there, okay. Gaia's just increased her energy a lot more. She's wonderful. She's laughing at me. Yeah. She says, good, dear one, good. That's it. Be present. For to all of you, my dear children, I wish for all of you at this time to do nothing else but be present. Use this time to cultivate yourself the way that a seed planted within the earth is cultivated, is cared for with sun and water and patience. I encourage all of you to take this time to not be idle or mindless, to not do to distract, but be intentional with your stillness. Be intentional with your quiet time. Be intentional with each action. And if you are in a moment where you wish to flow into another story, another place, through your books, or your movies, or your music, do so with intention that you wish to feel the energy of that thing that you are engaging with. And so, whatever it is that you choose intentionally to keep around you, match it with your vibration, making it as bright and light as there is. But most of all, spend this time allowing yourself to dream, to rest, sleep, and wonder. Create. Pursue that which you have not allowed yourself to pursue. And open yourself back up to things you may have done, things you may have forgotten, to those of you who draw energy from being around others, from being in groups and being in community, who find even your distance connections not to be enough at this time. Go outside. Your community is the trees, the flowers, the waters, the animals. They are part of your community too. If you wish for company, if you wish to draw energy between yourself and another, if you wish to connect, go speak with the trees and my trees. Well, speak back. They love to feel your energy. They love to give energy. Speak with them. If you feel alone, no, you are not. Simply step out and speak with a tree. Put your back against a tree. And to those who think too much, who spend much time in their heads, and to whom being alone is a comfort, to whom being alone is where you recharge and build your energy back up. Do not dwell within the cyclones of thoughts being sent out by those who are still trapped in a place of fear. Dwell instead in a lake of thoughts that is just joy. All the things that bring you joy. No matter how big or small. No matter if it's one thing or 12, dwell upon joy. Know that this will pass. But do not let it pass so quickly that you forget to use this time to rest. For when this is past, your light will be needed more than ever. Use this time to rest. To explore new patterns and ways of being and doing that are different from what you have done or what you have been taught must be done. That is all, dear ones. Know that I am here with all of you. And I give you my love. Oh. Whew. So she's kind of just flowed away from me now, and she's kind of nudging Hestia forward. And Hestia now is saying she wishes to address the spaces that we find ourselves in now. And she says, "Dear ones, as our Earth Mother, for yes, she is a mother to me too, speaks of being present and aware of each moment and moving through each moment with intention, making choices to connect with the communities you may not have connected with, the trees, the flowers that may not have had much space in your life because of the patterns that you followed. I wish to speak upon how to change the patterns that you have gotten used to, that you have learned from society, that some of you are flowing easily into now, and others are swimming through. She's just given me this image of kind of really trying to just crawl through it, almost doing that front crawl like it's going through mud a little bit. What I wish to speak of today, you may think of as oh, I love that name. She's calling it, sorry, just laughed at the name she's got, it's fantastic. She's calling it an energetic spring cleaning. Yes, she says, an energetic spring cleaning is what all of you are unconsciously going through at this time. And you can intentionally do it too. And this is like to the spring cleaning that many of you have been raised to do or have heard of going through and cleaning your home, of cleaning it of the dust, of cleaning it of clutter, of cleaning it to make it open, leaving windows wide and doors blowing in the spring winds. That is what you can do with your energy. By taking this time to really notice and track, what do you surround yourself with? What do you put up on the walls of your house? What music fills the space? What is spoken of day to day in your space by you or others who are within it? Who is in your space? Is it just you? Do you have a partner, children, extended family? What is done in this space? what is done, is it done with all who live in the space? Or is it done only by one? Or does each individual in that space have a different job? Do they focus on different things? Do they have even different vibrations? Take notice of all that your space is filled with. And do the same for what is inside, for what goes through your mind. What does your mind look like? Does your mind have a cabin? Does your mind have a lake? Is your mind a forest? Is your mind simply a blank white space? And whatever it is, what goes on in that space? Do you imagine what ifs? Are those what ifs things that bring you joy, things that you wish to strive toward? Or are they things that catch you and stop you and make you feel full of worry? Cast away that which you do not wish. And here she's just put in my mind an image of like one of those old kind of wooden brooms with the like straw kind of broom. She's just taking it and like sweeping all those thoughts out as if they were just dust. Oh my gosh. As thoughts arise in your mind, treat them the way that you would treat a physical object in your space. Pick it up. Acknowledge it. Remember where it came from, how it arose, and think it before releasing it, letting it go, and turning your intention to joy. Feel all the feelings that arise at this time. Do not squash any down. Let them all come up. And thank each for those that may make you feel uncomfortable, that may bring you anxiety in that moment as they arise. They are just clouds of dust being brushed out of your mental home. They do not have to remain if you do not wish them to. But you must first see them to be able to clean them out. Some of you may feel at this time that finding joy is a challenge. You may not feel open to joy. And to those of you who may feel this, know that you cannot demand to feel joy. You cannot force joy. And for some of you, there may be much cleaning to be done. Much cleaning to be done in your physical space and your energetic space. And this may not even be finished in the next few months, but use this time to begin cleaning so that you can be open to seeing joy, to remembering joy. If you can, be around children, watch children, engage with children, for they are open to joy. That is all they feel. That is all they are. They seek joy. They chase it. They breathe it. And the more you put yourself around them, the more you engage with them, the more you will feel it too. For that is what family is. Family supports each other, works with each other, engages with each other, feeds off the energy of each other. And if you do not have family in your physical space, connect online, connect back to what you did in your childhood, to what you remember of your childhood, or what you wish you had done in your childhood. Explore who you were or who you wish to have been as a child. And whatever it is, be it dancing, splashing paint on a piece of paper, making doodles, or just dreaming. Do not feel that it must be treated like a project, that whatever you start must be finished. Follow where your feelings take you. And if you start something and no longer wish to continue, then stop, just as a child would, and move on to something else. This too is important. As you clean out that which is not of a high vibration, it may take time for you to clean out all that you no longer wish to have around you. But know, if you begin to read something, you watch something, and you begin to feel bored, nervous, anxious, or you question why you're even reading or watching it, just stop put it down. Even if it was a book given to you by a friend, there is no need to finish it if it is something that does not resonate. Even if it is a project that you wish to start, you wished to learn to knit as your mother used to, but it does not resonate, then stop. Use this time to explore. And make art. And know that art is just what brings you joy. Thank you, dear one, she says. As you go through this time, if you wish for support and guidance, as you clean your physical space, as you clean your energetic space, you may call upon me, and I can support you with identifying that which you no longer need, where to begin with cleaning your physical space or your energetic space. And most of all, of helping you to hold to joy. Okay, so she says there's some questions here. So just scrolling through, seeing if I can find. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's the question. Okay. Ooh. Good one. Okay, so Giovanna's asking, how can we develop healthy relationships with deities? Ooh, that is a good one. I'm curious. Okay, so Hestia is saying, Giovanna, that all we need to do is call them in. And that is simply by saying their name if we wish, just thinking their name, even just seeing their image. And they will be there. And then asking questions. Ask questions, she says. And she says, no question you ask will go unanswered. Ask questions of questions, she says too. Do not stop asking questions until you understand the answer. For we will connect with you in whatever way that is needed for you to hear the answer. Ask questions. And ask too for support. And although we each do look after different fields, we each have different duties, call upon whoever you resonate with, for we will help you with whatever you need. Another one. Ooh, another good question. You guys, great questions today. So Gigi's asking, how can we best clean our emotional issues? Is it just by acknowledging and meditating? Okay. Hestia's giving me a nod, and she says, yes, that is the first way. We wish for all of you to clean out whatever energy, whatever emotions, whatever thoughts you no longer wish to hold on to. But, she says, simply by being aware of that which you no longer wish to have, and just acknowledging it, and then moving on to something you wish to focus upon, will allow it to fade away. And just kind of using it in the sense of she's giving me this image of just it's blowing away, kind of like wind just naturally is all around us, how air is just naturally all around us, and just by acknowledging it, focusing our attention, it will move off. She says, however, I know, she says, many of you may feel impatient or frustrated. Do not focus on those emotions, but if you do feel that as you are addressing the emotions that you no longer wish to hold on to, that is when you make time each day to sit with emotions you know you keep having, and you face them and you speak with them. You may choose to verbally speak with those emotions and ask those emotions why they are coming up, from where they are coming, and how they're arising, and what is triggering them. Or you may choose to write to those emotions. You may choose to write your questions in a journal, like letters, speaking to those emotions. Or you may choose to go deep within your mind and sit the emotion across from you at a table in a kitchen and visualize the emotion in however you wish to visualize it, and have tea with that emotion. And do just as you may with speaking to it or writing to it. Have a conversation. And whatever you choose to do it each and every day. And that is an active and intentional way to work with your emotions. However, above all, we wish for each of you to just be in the moment. There is nothing that must be fixed or must be done. And if you find that you cannot sit each day and speak with those emotions, she's giving me a look and she's like, as this one often struggles with, which is, that's true. Simply be aware of when a thought arises and stop it when it comes up, and then go about your day. She's giving me a little bit of a look, because I do, as she was pointing out there, with the really active kind of practice of sitting down and really engaging with things that are tangled up. Well, it's why 3 weeks ago, when I found myself sitting down and getting very tangled and about just how frustrated I was that this virus had thrown off what was going to be like this amazing landmark 30th birthday where I'd be able to spend it with my parents and some of my siblings and not spend it alone. And in that moment, she came in, as I was saying, kind of right at the very beginning, and helped me through just working through it, because generally, for me, when I do want to sit down and work through things, I just, because I'm such a, it's probably because I've just grown up being around stories so often, I find for me processing it by going and playing a lot of piano music is how I work through something, or going and writing a story is how I work through something, which is absolutely opposite to kind of that whole idea of really, really sitting down and engaging with it face to face, as Hestia was talking about. And it's something that I'm working on a little bit more, but yeah, it doesn't always really work with me, and I had to have Hestia pop in, and I had Gaia there with me, who showed up, and of course my whole team was there, and they were just like, stop being so stubborn, we're gonna work through this together. And we know that you have 1,000 things going through your head, so we're not gonna make you try to do it every single day, but just sit down and work through it. So Judy, yeah, I can definitely say from my personal experience, it's it's a whole journey, just working through whatever comes up, and even things that Spirit suggests. As I can say from personal experience, my male guardian angel Randolph is just rolling his eyes at me right now. Because, yeah, for me, it's an ongoing process of, they want me to really be able to sit down and make more, like, I meditate most days, so that's my period of quiet and just letting go of things. But ultimately I really, really work through stuff by going and playing piano or writing stories. I often get Spirit coming in my ear and saying, don't get too distracted, don't get too distracted, you're enjoying the music too much, or starting to have conversations with totally different energies and things. Like the other day I was playing the first movement of the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven, a super, super, super famous piece that you've all probably heard 1,000 times over. And as I was playing it, Beethoven popped in, and I was just like, then got distracted just chatting with him instead of just engaging with the music itself. But that's the whole process. Anyway, I'm going to just have a look because I know there's a few more questions here. Ooh. That is a really good question, Maggie. Ooh, really good one. Okay, so she's asking, for those of you who may have missed it, because it's a little bit further up, how does Gaia want us to best help her, or what can we do to assist getting to 5D? Oh. Gaia's energy always makes me feel so giddy. Just rushing up through. Okay. So she's saying, Maggie, that to best help her, is to first bring up our own vibrations and the vibrations of the places we call home. So she's speaking of like the physical homes we live in, as well as people that we are around that are our home. She says, for these are the microcosm of me, of what all of you are together with me. For I am the home that you all are upon in this lifetime. And for my frequency, which is rising, always, it is always rising, to rise further, focus on what is around you and what is within you, and keeping that high. And if each of you do this, each of you will raise the vibration of the whole. She's using the analogy of each of us being like a molecule of water. And each of us just alone is just that tiny little molecule. But when you bring all of us together, then you get a whole body of water. You get an ocean. She's saying specifically, her analogy is, we each are just molecules, but together we're an ocean. And the same is with vibrational frequency. And there is no need to feel that you must push toward 5D. For it is a process that you must not think of in your 3D sense of time. And so, if each of you simply focuses on keeping your vibration high, keeping your home space and those in your home space at a high vibration as much as possible. And if each of you does this, I will benefit. Oh, Lisa, that's wonderful. Oh my gosh, hugging all the trees. Yeah. It's something that it's very easy to do now because you don't have an excuse of feeling slightly embarrassed by people walking past because there's not really too many people walking past. Okay, there may be in certain areas. There's a lot of people who tend to be outside where I live. There usually is a lot of people outside anyway. But yeah, just go around and hug all the trees down every street that you live. Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful, Judy. Yeah, visualization is wonderful. Ooh, whoa. Yeah. That's a really good question, Kirsty. Ooh. So, those of you who may have missed Kirsty's question, she's talking about how she has difficulties throwing away plants at home when they're looking a little bit miserable and they're not really recovering, and she feels like she's treating them as a waste, which, yeah, I can relate to that. I really can, because funny story, you guys. I have some fig trees and a clover, and I also have a cactus. My fig trees and clovers are wonderful. They have stuck around with me for a couple years, probably about 3 or 4 years now that I've had them in this particular space. And they haven't died off, and that's a little bit of a problem with me because I don't tend to really focus on schedules, and every other week I'm missing recycling or whatever it is because that's just not on the top of my mind even when I write it down. So those clovers and fig trees are wonderful about dealing with my less than regular watering schedule, though I do touch their leaves and talk with them quite often. I've got that cactus though. Poor cactus. I don't think I've watered it for months and months and months, and cactuses should go perfectly fine without watering them for a long time, right? A cactus should be totally fine not watering it. But no, my poor cactus is the poor plant that is not doing well. Because I've not watered my cactus enough. So, sorry, Kirsty. I'll tune into what there's about your question in just a moment. I just for something a little bit hilarious and lighthearted, because I couldn't stop laughing for a day. And just had spirit rolling their eyes at me so much, just being like, of course, only you and your tendency to get distracted will end up doing that to a poor cactus. Anyway. Sorry, guys, just she's talking to me too, Kirsty, kind of on the same vein of what to do with my poor cactus. And she says that you should never feel any negativity toward needing to let go of a plant that is not doing well. for plants are as much a part of the life cycles that all things in the 3D realm upon my back experience. There is life and living and death. It goes in a cycle. That means not all things are meant to last. And it is not even this dear one's fault. When a plant begins to wilt, for it has given you what you needed from it. Be it energy or energy, and a lesson, energy, and a reminder, as this one has gotten for watering schedules. But know that as long as you take the plants and you return them to my back, so she's talking about not just tossing it into the garbage, but going and putting the plant out into nature, whether it's just in your backyard or out into the forest or wherever you're able to do it, and to allow the plant to now give its energy back to me. Its duty. So, above all, she's just stressing, Kirsty, that you return the plant back to nature rather than just tossing it into the garbage where it would end up in one of those big garbage refuses. That's good to know. Also for me. 'Cause I'm gonna have to probably let go of that poor cactus. Oh boy. I can't stop laughing about that. Which really is just good a note as any to finish off today on the high note of just being so distracted by soaking up everything else that a poor cactus is not doing very well. But thank you, Gaia, for that. I needed to hear that too, that it's not any fault of us if a plant ends up dying. It's part of that life cycle. Because, yeah, I feel you there, Kirsty, so much. I do feel bad because it's happened to me quite a few times where I have had plants that just start not doing well because of all sorts of reasons. And so with that, I wish all of you a wonderful rest of your Saturday and sending you yeah, lots of love and care and thinking of all of you in this time. We're all in this together. So one thing actually that I did want to mention just for myself, because I've had a number of people that I've just seen talking about it, or they've mentioned it to me, that whatever you're feeling or going through at this time, it's totally, totally valid. Totally is. And I know also from personal experience, it's very easy to start judging ourselves and being like, we shouldn't feel so bad or depressed or sad about this and this and this because there's this person who's like way worse off. And yeah, just keep in mind at this time that there's a whole spectrum of people on a whole scale of what they're going through, and for each of us individually, whatever we're feeling, it's potentially sometimes something that we don't really want to feel, but we just need to, as Hestia and Gaia were saying today, acknowledge it, let it go, and focus on that joy, because whether it's just being frustrated about not being able to go to a regular community group, or you're missing some sort of event that was a big landmark, like a wedding or a birthday or a graduation, in the grand scheme, those don't really matter much, do they? It's just being in joy, as has often been said and was said today. And we're all in it together, which is really wonderful. That's what I keep reminding myself of. We're all in this together. So, with that, thank you everyone for sharing this space as always. And next week I will be switching over to a live on my storytelling theme of stuff that I've started, and it'll be the week after that that I will be connecting in with whoever wishes to step forward. And I do have some channelings to be posting up just to finish off the unit that I had started through March here, but it's gotten a little bit sidetracked just because of everything that's been going on. So on Wednesdays you'll be seeing just up in the group one of those shorter channeled messages that'll be popping up as well, coming up here again as usual. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see all of you next week. Goodbye for now.